Well, the season picks up a couple months after she had to send him away, and that vulnerable, shaken state that you saw her at the end of season 2, she's sort of solidified and withdrawn into herself. And the scales that she is always balancing of Supergirl and Kara Danvers as a reporter are heavily leaning on Supergirl now. She's kind of thrown herself into her work as a hero to kind of deal with the grief, but it's a much darker and adult Kara than we've seen.
Who's she leaning on?
Herself. She's really relying on she's not really talking to anyone.
We discovered in the finale that Kat knows who you are. Are we going to see any ramifications from that, and do you think that's going to be someone that she can maybe talk to?
I am longing for the day where Kara and Kat discuss this, but I don't think, as of now, Kara doesn't know that Kat knows. And I think she's probably known the whole time and just never said anything, which is so funny. But Kat is in the first episode of the season, and the way that she was written in is so smart and clever, and I'm excited for people to see it.
So we're starting the second season in France right now. Can you just sum up a little bit what happened and what was the most emotional?
In season 2?
Yes.
Well, season 2, Kara really explores how to juggle everything she wants in her life. She starts a new career, she has her first ever boyfriend, and is obviously still trying to be the best hero she can be and save everyone. So she's kind of juggling that whole season.
You also got to do the musical episode this year, which is obviously in your wheelhouse. Can you talk a little bit about working on that episode with The Flash?
I had a ball. I had such a fun time. I thought it was not... I don't know what my expectations were going into it. I was nervous. But Grant and I have so much fun together, and when we're working, especially when we're working on musical comedy stuff and tap dancing together, I mean, I don't know if I've laughed that hard in a really long time, and we had the best time.
How hard was the scheduling when you were involved in that crossover?
Every crossover is gargantuan. Like, scheduling don't even get me started. It's crazy. It's near impossible feats, and we do them. I don't know how, but after every crossover I've done, I'm like, what just happened? So we're doing a true four-parter this season, and it'll be the same way.
Good. Yeah. Happy Comic-Con. That's what we're here for, right? So what's up?
So what did they tell you? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so MON-EL's gone.
I think so, yeah.
What's going on with MON-EL?
I don't know. I'm here. I either I took my pod out of whatever chasm I fell into, and yeah, I'm here.
Is there absolutely anything you can tell us?
That's the worst part of it all. Is I can't tell you anything.
Well, your presence tells us something.
It does. See, that's the biggest thing. I'm here in some capacity, so we'll. That's the big thing with MON-EL is obviously if and when he comes back, where he's been, what happened to him, what he carries with him because of whatever experience he had, and it'll throw some really cool new dimensions to the show in ways I think the fans are pretty excited about. So I'm excited. I'm also excited to find out more about it because you know, we have like 2 scripts right now, so we have a long way to go. So.
That was probably the most emotional moment in the whole, like, possibly the whole series.
The goodbyes? Jeez.
What was that like? And, you know, were you aware of any kind of fan criticisms of their relationship and now in particular?
I mean, I heard about it. I don't particularly pay attention to that.
That's why.
Yeah, I mean, it also the highs aren't real and the lows just bring you down. So I find it's best to sort of work within your own chasm of the character in the show, and hope that people take things that you love about it and Also, by the way, things that you hate about it, because we don't write the show. We don't get to decide what happens in the show. So sometimes there's stuff that you may be like, oh, I wish they'd done that, and we're on set going, I wish we got to do that too. But that's not how it works. But I felt very lucky and very happy with sort of the arc that I had, in that some of the things that I think, what you're probably referencing, some of the criticisms early on for the closed-mindedness of MON-EL and sort of where he came from on Daxam and all that. It was easy to jump on as a reader, even early on reading the scripts, as this guy sucks bandwagon. But the whole point is finding a way to take a character from a very selfish place to the ultimate sacrifice at the end, which is, I'm going to give my life to save everyone else, which is the biggest journey you could even give a potential hero, is to have them start in a place where they would always do the thing that protects them, and they end by doing the thing that sacrifices themselves. So I was happy that got to go that way, and I think a relationship with a character ebbs and flows, and I think for me that's the best part of it, is sometimes people are not going to like your character, and sometimes people aren't going to like your decisions that your character makes. But MON-EL's a hero. At the end of the day, in the comics, he's a hero, and the whole point of this character is to watch the evolution of someone who is flawed, going from this mess into donning a cape and looking like an image of purity and heroism. So, for me, that's the coolest part of the character. Yeah. Cool, guys.
How is everybody? Good. Let's get some... enough of the t-shirt, let's get the questions going.
So, go ahead. Are they adding more characters to your plate this year? Because,
Yeah, I know. I keep playing more and more characters. I don't know what's going on. There will be a surprise guest coming along in episode 3 who is really going to make me think, force me to think about my main character, which is John Jones. So there's a big John Jones reveal in episode 3, which I think is going to be quite major. Is that mine? Thank you. That's nice. I didn't ask for it.
No, she brought it over for me. So how do you differentiate them? How do you make sure that they're all different?
Well, it's all about the essence. Each character has an essence, and you have to kind of sniff that out and try and... I mean, Martians was quite... Cyborgs was rather cold and metallic, and so I just was not very nice. But you have to kind of get... Each one of them has a flavour, so once you find that flavour, you can kind of maximise it and kind of drill down on it. So that's what I try and do as an actor, is just find the essence of the character and make that my choice.
What's going to be the biggest challenge in this next season?
Biggest challenge is not eating too much. It's like, I tell you, we're up in Vancouver now, and in the winter, unlike LA, in the winter, it just rains a lot, and it rains for days. And I found myself last year just eating pies all day long and staying in bed eating. So you can normally tell by like episode 10 that people start gaining weight, and then they go through this kind of epiphany around episode 15 where they see themselves on TV, think, I need to lose some weight, and then by the end of the season they'll start thinning out again. So I'm hoping to miss out on that fattening piece and stop eating. That's my thing. That's what I'm looking forward to now. Any other questions?
You found a little bit of romance this season.
I did, yes.
Are we going to be seeing her in the next season?
We are going to see a little bit of Mehcad, but we've had some really fantastic guests, on this show, and we love everybody. Her, Snapper, Madan, Alora. They've all got their own schedules, and some of them have now got their own shows, which is fantastic, especially Sharon. So hopefully, if she's available, she can come back and do some more, because I'd certainly like to work with her. She's been great fun, and it was nice seeing John happy. It was nice seeing John Jones kind of, with a bit of happiness in his life. He's always so lonely and miserable and down. So it was nice seeing him happy and in love. So hopefully we can see that some more.
You said you've seen the first couple of scripts. Is there a moment coming up in those scripts that you can't wait for the fans to see?
Yeah, like I say, episode 3 is going to be. I think they're going to. It's going to blow people's minds. I think, or certainly going to shatter John. It certainly shatters Jean's mind. So it's the last thing I was expecting. So it's going to be very interesting to see how people react.
It seems like you spent more time as in Martian gear in season 2 than you did in season 1. Have they done anything to kind of make that easier on you in terms of the costume or prep?
No, not really. No, I mean, I love that costume. I think it's just one of them. This is my favourite costume I've ever put on. I love it to bits. I think it's just genius design. I get very excited whenever it's hung up in my wardrobe. But yeah, so you know, whenever I'm playing the Green Martian, I love it. In fact, it's all CG. None of it's makeup. But I you know, because it would just spend hours getting myself ready and getting myself out of it. But it's such a great outfit. If I could, I'd be in that makeup chair for hours getting green makeup on, because it's just an awesome character.
What can I do for you? Well, anybody got a question? Or you can just talk about Princess for Christmas, but I think DC would be pissed.
Can you talk about, like, as the season begins, where is she at?
Season 3 takes out very soon after the end of season 2, so you don't have to make a lot of jumps about what has happened to the characters in sort of a mass amount of time. So what's really good is it's very current, and so obviously for Lena, she's dealing with her ever-present mother issues, but more concern for her is the state of mind of her best friend, because she does feel responsible for what she did with MON-EL and how much that's affecting Kara. So, you know, that's her main focus, because I think a lot of the times Lena sort of pushes her family issues to the back. She just doesn't want to deal with it. She's so used to them. So I think rather than having to deal again with, you know, her mother, her stepmother being her adopted mother, so complicated, having disappointed her again, she's more concentrating on Kara.
So what do you wish the producers and writers bring the character this season? How do you wish for the character places you want to go that they haven't?
I'd like to see this season her interacting with more of the cast, you know, because I wasn't obviously in every episode last year, and it got sort of very, I started to feel really lonely, because they'd all be having these great days and these great times, and, you know, I'd see all these pictures and I'd be like, So I'd love it if there's a way to bring Lena out and interacting with, you know, like I hardly have ever had a scene with Kyler or with Brianna, like, you know what I mean? So I'd like to be involved with the rest of them.
Kara and Lena have this really powerful friendship that fans have really strong feelings about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What do you
So,
say?
okay. Well, that answers my question. No, but are you looking to develop that, and are you kind of aware of what some of these crazy fan expectations are?
I mean, I think no matter what show you do and no matter what relationship you have, fans have expectations of it. You know, like people have expectations of Melissa and Chris's characters' relationships. You know what I mean? So I'm like, whatever they want to write, I'm game for doing. But I think I feel so lucky that I get to play this role and to have an actress like Melissa to play with. Do you know what I mean? It's rare that you get that, and I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that the producers weren't expecting it, because I wasn't signed for that many episodes, and yet here I am. So I think what's nice is that they've responded not only to how Melissa and I are together, but to how the fans like it, and how they're very intuitive and they're very involved in feedback of what they see online. So obviously they're responding to something. So here we still are.
Lena's very smart, but she's made some really bad decisions.
Have it real. I feel like that's me.
Do you think, how's that going to affect her going forward in these first few episodes?
I think she's dealing with a lot of guilt, and a lot of the responses of what you're going to see comes from her dealing with the guilt of MON-EL, of really destroying the earth, of trusting her mother again, you know. And a main overriding aspect of Lena's character is she does feel guilty for being a Luthor. Even without her ever done something, she feels family guilt. It's like, you know, Catholic guilt. It's the same thing. It's genetic. So, you know, she's still going to be dealing with that, and I think that's always going to be a part of her character. And season 3 going forward, you know, that is something that is very prevalent in her mind.
Being a Luthor, there's sort of this expectation that eventually she's going to be a villain at some point, right? Like everyone expects villainy from her. Do you see that dark turn being a possibility down the road?
I think it's a possibility in any character, and I think that's what makes a character engaging, is that there's always the idea that at any point they could go dark. I mean, you know, David could be playing a dark character, all of a sudden Jimmy Olsen could be dark, and that's what's interesting. And I know that because she has the last name Luthor, that you have this notion that eventually she's going to end up being evil. And Lord knows I played enough characters that started out good and ended up evil, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen. What's great about what Berlanti does and everyone else is that they've taken these very familiar characters from the comic books and they've created their own world, and so much so and done it so well that it's almost separate to the comic books. So it's on its own track. So who's to know? I mean, I might end up to the savior of National City. Why not?
So I'm playing Rain. Thank you so much. She is a new character this season on Supergirl, season 3. Rain is a world killer. She was bioengineered in a lab. She was sent to Earth from Krypton, much like Kara and Clark. She's different than any other villain that you'll see on Supergirl in the way that she has her own agenda. She's not out to kill everybody. She's not out to rule the Earth. Her reasons for dispensing justice are very specific, and you'll see that story unfold throughout the season.
What's it like to be cast that's already
so tight and so awesome? Even more awesome. They're, I mean, as you can see, they all have a really great bond, and they've been doing this, you know, for 2 years now, and they all know each other and really love each other, and they welcomed me with open arms. They were like, "You're new, Vancouver can be lonely, come hang out." It's awesome.
Lisa said that as a villain, that she's going to be a role that demands like be endeared to her a little bit. Can you talk about that?
I hope they're going to be endeared to her a little bit. It's always nice to resonate with a villain and see why they're doing. You might not, you know, side with them, but maybe you can see why they do what they do, and hopefully that will be the case with Rain as well. You know, we've got some time to tell this story. We've got a whole season to tell the story, so I'm particularly excited about sharing this heartbreaking tale. It really will be, as well as powerful and strong, and I think that she's going to be one of Supergirl's greatest matches.
Fans are going to love about her on the show?
I don't know yet, because I don't know where they're taking this story, but I do know they don't say much, and I think that's probably better, because I would spill all the secrets and then I'd get fired right away, and I don't want to do that because I really like this show. But I think that because you're going to be able to see her whole story, I think that fans will, you know, appreciate that. And, you know, she's not just, it's not like, oh, hey, I'm bad and I want to kill everybody. She's got a reason why she's doing it. And I think that that's what fans, you know, will find different and hopefully will really like.
There's not a whole lot of source material. Right?
You are right.
So you get the luxury of kind of creating this character for this audience. What's that like? And I mean, did you spend any time with the source material?
Well, there's also a little bit of pressure that's off of my shoulders because of that. You know, which is great. I mean, we get to sort of go off and tell our own story, and yeah, very little is known about the Rain character. I do know that we will, in terms of look, we will be giving nods to the original character, but the costume is not going to be the same. I mean, I'm wearing basically nothing in the comic books, so I'm very grateful for that. You know, and I would rather not be in hours and hours of makeup, and if we were going to try to match what's in the comics, that would be the case. So we're doing our own spin on things, much like, you know, what they do on their other shows, which is really nice. I'm diving into watching the show. I had a baby. She's almost 2 years old, and so when I was watching the first season, I was putting my kid to bed and I was going to bed. So now is the time for me to, you know, dive into it, because I'll be, you know, back and forth from here to Vancouver.
Tell us how was the feeling of shooting with live when you first arrived?
I felt a little nervous. I want to. The fans are so amazing, and they're so dedicated to the show, and I just want to, do this character justice, and I want to get it right, and I don't want to disappoint. So there's a little bit of that, but at the end of the day, I take, and creatively am going to do my best to give this, this awesome character what I think she needs to have. So I'm doing everything I can, and I'm putting everything into it. First day of shooting was crazy. There were fans just like on the side, and like paparazzi everywhere, and it was insane. We were shooting in Vancouver. It was nutty, but it was so much fun.
It's nice. It's nice. Kako it's a lot of fun. It's always a lot of fun for a character, and it's good to have responsibilities, to be a responsible adult.
And now you get to be a hero.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
It's been really good. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Are we going to see more of James out on the streets in the next season?
What do you mean out of the streets? You mean as a Guardian or as James?
As Guardian.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see more Guardian. Guardian's not through. There's a lot of crime that needs to be fought, and some DEO that he's teaming up with, and some Supergirl that he's teaming up with. So, yeah.
What was the Guardian process like in terms of like the training you had to do and the costume fittings and stuff like that?
Jeez, the costume fittings was like training. It was crazy. So like we had like, I don't know, 11 billion fittings, and then we had like maybe 7 different variations of the actual costume while shooting, because things just didn't fit right, and we would notice, okay, everything's good, and then I run like, nope, that doesn't fit, like, then I would punch like, nope, that doesn't fit, and then like I would kick and like, that doesn't fit, and I'd get on the motorcycle like, that doesn't fit, like, so we went through 2 pieces, a onesie, like a baby strap onesie thing. It was horrible for a little while, but it always looked great. It just didn't always feel good. So now we have it down packed, and it's great. So.
What do you look at for us coming up next season?
First of all, I was taught never to tease people. Not a bully. So, I'm sorry. Couldn't miss that opportunity. There's a shakeup that happens at Catco. James is running it, but there's an unlikely source that takes a very powerful stake in Catco that you're going to be very surprised about. Causes some soul searching for James. There's more Guardian stuff, and there's a love interest for James as well.
And you know that the scripts, there's only been a couple. Where would you like to see James go this season? You personally, where would you like to see?
Sky's the limit. I mean, I'd love to see some of the backstory. I'd love to see, why he is who he is. Like what makes him tick. My mom, I'm like, who's my mom? Like, that's important. I want to see how Superman feels about his best friend becoming the Guardian. Like that's kind of important. If you're a superhero, right, which you are, and your best friend goes, hey, now I'm one too, and like you're like, wait, so you have to go, hey, good job, or what the hell are you doing? So, I'd love to see that.
Will we be seeing that in the first few episodes?
We'll blame it on somebody else. You just tell us who.
I mean, if you not...
Probably not. Probably not.
You're not being videoed or anything.
Is that my one?
It's not mine.
It is now.
I hope it was. Was that my vodka?
See, the showrunners, did they tell you anything about
No.
James? No, I mean, not the future, but like, how much...
I'll tell you anything. No.
How much James's backstory? Like how much of that is fleshed out?
I know a little bit. I mean, I know the canon. Metropolis, I know Superman's best friend. I know that Pulitzer Prize winner. I know he's been through a lot. kind of one of these Vice war reporters, basically. I know his father was a Iraqi war vet and lost his life serving his country. And that's kind of as far as we've gone. And I think beyond that, we're sort of reinventing it. So we're keeping the same DNA, but building a new nurture system for us.
I love kind of being, Wynn gets to kind of nerd out a little bit more and be his true, sci-fi loving, conspiracy theory, creating self. He gets to actually sort of, exploit his true talents, which I think he's still finding what those really are. I mean, he's a smart guy who's never really given himself enough credit until Kara and Supergirl came along and decided that, hey, you know what, you're smarter and a lot, more capable than you think, and he's just like kind of loving his life and living, the dream for him.
Things changed for him this coming season, or did they stay?
I think they're probably going to start off with Wynn, his kind of fun-loving self. Everybody's affected by Kara and her sort of, she's dealing with the loss of MON-EL. And so we're all kind of swept back into that. I think we'll see a little bit more of Wynn and Kara's relationship. We kind of left it alone for a while after he confessed his love for her in season 1. So I don't know, with MON-EL gone, maybe they kind of rekindle their friendship. I personally don't think that road is ever going to get traveled down anymore. He's still in a relationship with Lyra, who's the alien girlfriend from last year, so we might hear from her later down the line. But I do think that we're going to be exploring a little bit more of Wynn's backstory and his family life, and it's hard to say. We've only got a couple scripts so far, and Wynn's just, yucking it up, like huge.
You got to participate in the musical episode this year, which is sort of your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that experience and some of your favorite
Oh,
parts
it was
of it.
great. We went on The Flash and did the musical episode, which was a ball. I was just happy that they let me do a little something. They let me put on a silly character voice and sing some songs, and I miss it. I grew up a singer and I've always been doing that, and I've done almost everything that I've done on TV and film has been musical, whether it's a movie or a TV show. So this has been the first time that I've gotten away from that, and I did it on purpose because I wanted to kind of branch out and be like, this is not all I do. But it was fun to get back to it, and that's kind of where my heart is. So.
Rain was put in the pot for one of them, so we have, we're very excited that Odette Annabelle is joining the show in that role, and so we're excited to have a villain. I think she's a villain unlike anyone we've had on Supergirl in the past, so I think it'll be a very compelling story. She comes with a very specific agenda.
And obviously we saw Kara have to make this hero's choice that was devastating to save the Earth by sending her love off into space, and that will really impact the beginning of season 3 because she's starting in a darker place, having really suffering heartbreak and grief, and the central question of season 3 is, what does it mean to be human, and is there room for Kara to be Supergirl and also have all the emotions that come with being a human being, and she's going to be grappling with that question all season.
Chris, we love Chris, and he's definitely in the show, but how and when he returns, you'll have to stay tuned.
It's the central mystery of the season, but MON-EL is not going anywhere. He's on the show.
You talked about last season you brought Superman and introduced him to the series. How or if you will make an appearance again this season?
We love Tyler, and we loved having him on the show. Right now we don't have any plans, but if the story takes us there and he's available, we'd love to have him back.
We hope so. I hope so. Best Superman I ever saw.
When you say what it means to be human, and every year the Kara's journey always ties ties into the big villain show. So what does that mean for Rain?
Well, the theme of what does it mean to be human is we're going to pose that question to every character, main character, including Rain. And so, without giving too much away, Rain is going to have an unexpected connection with LENA, LUTHOR, and
that's it.
That's all I can say.
But I think the fans and the audience will really enjoy it because we're diving deeper into this film than we have with the other ones in the other seasons.
The special thing about Rain is that I think we hope that the audience is going to have an emotional connection to her, which is unusual for the villain, and we think it's going to be spectacular.
You had two major actors who played very big roles in season 1 who weren't able to return for season 2. Can you talk a little bit about reshaping the series to address those holes?
Which characters are you referring to?
Kat and Peter Facinelli's character. I don't remember his name.
Kat was back?
She was,
and
yeah.
she's going to be in the series premiere. In season 3 premiere.
Well, and I think we had just come to the end of one story, and so I think it was reshaping it. But I think kind of continuing what we had done, but our focus shifted a little bit more to the DEO with WINN there. But I think we love having both worlds in the show and giving, it's allowed us to tell a lot of different stories, and we like telling these topical stories we're able to address with Kara as a reporter.
And Kat Grant will continue to recur, obviously not like she was in season 1, but she's going to be a presence.
Now, we heard over in the Arrow press room that Supergirl as a show is going to be having more of a role in the crossover this year. Can you tell us anything about that?
No, just that it's a true 4-part crossover this year that'll start on Supergirl, and it'll be awesome, but that's it.
Epic.
Last season was kind of a transitional season. It's almost like a little bit of a reset because you were on the network. But now you have found your real home. Has that changed how you approach the story of this season? Do you feel like you've got more freedom?
I think we just feel like an established third season
We
show.
feel very at home at the CW, and they've been very embracing the show and embracing what we wanted to do. So I think it's just a continuation of, it's great to be supported like that. We're just telling the stories that kind of evolve from where we put the characters. So I think it has more to do with that than...
But we are thrilled to be at the CW, and it's definitely the right home for the show.
And we love being closer proximity to the other shows, and allowing for those crossovers.
This season, do you really embrace this idea that there's the alien aspect of this world? Will that continue to play a role in this coming season and people's interpretation or views of the alien?
I think the allegory of aliens as immigrants, we told that story and we feel like we completed it, so we're not going to stay specifically on that theme.
But our universe, our world is, they're
still the alien bar, and it's still peopled with those characters.
Do you know where you're going to end up when you start the season? Do you sit down and say this is basically where we want to end up, and then you just work your way through, or do you work your way through and then say, oh, this is where we ended?
No, we talked about it in terms of the journeys for the characters, so that kind of created a beginning and an end point, and then we kind of filled in the middle. So it was really once we decided what the season was going to be about creatively and the journeys we wanted to take them on, and we knew where the journey we wanted that journey to take us, then the stories kind of came.
We know what we're building to, but there's a lot in the middle to still fill out.
Do you have guest stars coming?
Well, we've already announced Erica Durant, and
there'll be more announcements this afternoon, I think.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.